You're now tuning into the sounds of the Potnas podcast.
Perspective on topics, news, and shit.
Well, put crab legs in my bucket and send me to Maryland. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 17
Bro,
of the Potnas podcast, where we're delivering our perspective on topics, news, and shit.
wait a minute, bro. Did you? Was that in your head before you?
No, that was freestyle. You like that?
Nah, I don't
Try
like
something
it.
new. You don't
Crab
like it?
legs
Suck it.
in a
Let's
bucket.
keep it rolling.
Keep
bro.
it popping. Keep it popping.
Yeah. You know, Maryland is known for the crab legs.
Yeah, we got it. We got the
for
hint.
sure,
Right.
no doubt.
All right, cool. Golly, so serious. Anyways, we are your hosts, the Potnas. Potnas stands for perspective on topics, news, and shit.
Already.
All right, but if the kiddos are listening, then it stands for stuff. First up, we got Mr. Put Your Money Up, Courtney Coleman, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, sir. You was almost late on. Look, there we go.
Hey, bro. Come on, bro. What's going on, Courtney?
Yeah.
How you living, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How y'all doing?
Hey, chilling.
Oh, yeah. Next to
leg.
him is the flyest one in the room. Give it up, ladies and gentlemen, for Dino, a.k.a. the Dictionary. Oh, you stole my intro?
Why is that on here?
Wow. And you told me.
Yeah, bro. I'm taking all your shit.
Oh, unbelievable. And finally, it's the most extraordinary, explosive partner of them all. You ain't never had a friend like me. Cue music. Yes, I am Mr. Somebody had to say it. I am JT, aka Young Tizzle, the live thrizzle. Boom. Yeah, one more for good measure. Yes, it is episode 17, ladies and gentlemen. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. We appreciate all the feedback up to this point. And we have a very special guest, a couple of special guests on the show today, and it's going to be a good one. So I hope that you all have your notepad. I hope that you all have your listening ears on, because we got an episode for an earful for you all to digest, all right? Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, Dino, cue up the board. Get the board ready, because there is applause in order. All right. She is a graduate of the University of Texas at Austin. Oh yes, y'all. And she got her JD, y'all. She's about to be a whole lawyer up in this thing. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the lovely Gabby Rodrigues.
Yeah, man. Welcome. What's going on?
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Of course.
Yes, virtually. We had to make this happen. Oh, and by the way, where are you broadcasting from? Are you broadcasting from LA? Where Tokyo? Beijing?
Tokyo. No, I'm in Austin.
Austin.
So.
Hey,
Okay. You in the home?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much. It is an honor for us to have you on the show, especially on such short notice, right? Gabby, we just want to go ahead and get into a quick little introduction of yourself. So if you could just tell us, where are you from, where are you now, and your occupation.
Tell us about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm Gabby. I'm originally from New Jersey, but I've spent most of my life in Texas, between Dallas and Austin.
Oh, okay.
Yeehaw.
Currently residing in Los Angeles, but visiting Austin. So.
There you go.
All right. You Mrs. Worldwide, well, national, but you're about to be Mrs. Worldwide, all right? Because you're going to be taking cases all over the world, huh?
She's like,
Well,
Tell us a
my
little bit about
jurisdiction
you.
could be California, but we'll see where we go from there.
Okay, Gabby, quick question, because you're in Austin right now, and I hear this is a thing. Does Austin feel anything like California to you? There's a lot of transplants out there right now.
Yeah, I mean, so I think everybody likes to connect LA to Austin.
Yeah.
Because of the camping.
Yeah.
I feel like it's different still, but I could see the changes from when I went here for
Yeah.
so.
Same. When I went, it didn't feel like old Austin when we were living there. It feels a little different.
Yeah.
A little more pretentious and such.
Yeah. Did you answer the occupation question? You want to get into that a little bit?
Yeah. So I'm a recent law school graduate from USC Law. Just took my bar exam in California. So just took the California bar at the end of July. I will be starting work next month.
That's
Hey.
what's up. That's
Congrats,
what's up.
congrats.
Congratulations. That's dope.
Thank you. Nice to be employed. But
You
I'll
know
be working
where
for
yet?
a big law firm in Los Angeles doing corporate level litigation.
Oh, nice. Corporate level litigation.
Sounds exciting.
Yeah, that's very dope. I wanna ask you what led you to law? What led you to litigation? What's your inspiration?
Yeah, I mean, I think the inspiration came from like a really sad moment in my life. My parents, like many people's parents, have like went through a divorce, but my parents' divorce was a little bit messier and
Yeah.
spent a lot of time in family court. And I just saw how the kids generally kind of get left by the wayside during that process while people are fighting over money or who has blood and trying to move, all the other things like that. But yeah, I think a lot of things happen to children because there's not space for them to really be brought up in the like conversation during like family court, because technically the lawyers are not there to represent the children, although like the whole thing behind it is we're supposed to be doing what's in the best interest of
them. Yeah.
So I think after I had my first experience like going into family court and being cross-examined and how terrifying that was,
Yeah.
you know, I just wanted to be the one to contribute to making that a more inclusive space for children and making sure that their interests are actually, you know, reflected. And I think I've stayed true to the fact that I want to help people. I might not go into the family law track anymore, but I think just generally I wanted to find a way to help people in whatever capacity that might look like.
Yeah. That's what's up.
That's dope. That answered my second question. I was going to ask you like, what's your why, I guess too. But I mean, that's, you know, helping people. Like, obviously, you're in the perfect space for that. I think it's really dope.
It's always great to operate in a space where you have a purpose and and a strong why, you know. And I think that's, you know, even though that there's clearly some sadness attached to that, it kind of you use it and channel it into fuel.
That part,
you know, to push you into a bigger calling to help others, and that's what it's all about. And we're extremely proud of you, girl. You know,
No doubt.
We are. It's even more special because, you know, she's a woman. She's a melanated woman. She a black woman out here. You know what I'm saying?
doubt. Yeah.
Representing the shit. She might actually, you know, VP end up in this thing, huh?
We just need
Madam Rodrigues. Madam Vice President.
Yeah, we can
Shit.
go.
Okay. All right.
We need you to eventually move back to Texas because we need
Right.
no legal fees. So that's
Hey.
Moving back to Texas is the plan.
yeah.
Oh, that's what's
Oh
up.
yes, really awesome. We thought you wanted to stay in LA.
I just gotta say too, like I think it's real dope because that kind of resonated because I was in and out of family court at some other point. That's for another story. But I think you have one or two paths. Like it's two places I hate: the hospital and the courtroom, because nothing good ever comes out of those two usually. So like for you to go through that experience, have some negative, you know, memories, some, you know, dare I say, traumatic experiences that are tied to that, and to come out on the other side, I'm like, yo, I want to be an agent of change against what I experienced. That's dope because I just don't want shit to do with court houses at all anymore.
Hey, Gabby, I got a question for you. So you said corporate litigation. Could you talk a little bit more, like give a little bit more context and details onto what exactly that term means?
Yeah, I think the best way, so law firms are kind of categorized a little bit differently. So there's like big law firms, mid-sized law firms, and like small boutique law firms. And that's all the divisions kind of go along with how many attorneys do they have staffed at those particular law firms. So I think if you have like 500 plus, then you're categorized as a big law firm. And that's like across the nation effectively. So I'll be going into a big law firm that has different offices across the country, but I chose to be in LA because I felt like that particular office spoke to me the best. But most of their clients are corporate, like large corporations, mostly
like
because
Exxon and big companies like Exxon, Amazon.
Yeah,
Google,
like,
things
you
of
know,
that
like think Suits, you know, although I think they might have been mid-sized, but like the same concept, sort of. It's kind of cool. And usually the reason why those large like law firms take on large corporations is because of like confidentiality, like conflicts of interest type.
Yeah.
You know, people would preclude them from doing other cases.
Yes. Thank you for that description, because the reason why I asked that question, I think for a lot of people, especially in the minority community, in the Black community, law, like understanding the law is kind of like understanding your taxes and finances in a sense, right?
Yeah.
You know,
It's not something that we are we're just not used to.
We're not raised up with that
talking.
being a part of our lexicon. We're not talking about, we don't talk about that. I mean, in the very basic sense of like when you get pulled over, head straight, mind the law, that type of thing. In fact, we're taught to avoid when I say law, I'm usually talking about police officers when I say the laws, but like we're taught to kind of avoid that. You know what I mean? So it's like, you're right. I think that's good.
Gabby, yeah, awesome introduction into a little bit of what you do. And now we want to ask, what is your aspiration? What is your goal moving forward, you know, in the field of corporate litigation?
Yeah. Make a little disclaimer. I forgot to say it in the beginning. I am not currently barred by any state. I'm not holding myself out to be a lawyer. I'm not giving legal advice. Just wanted to cover my bases.
There you go. There's a legalese probably y'all listening right now. That's it.
I mean, I'm really just excited to learn. When you go to law school, they teach you how to think like a lawyer, but not necessarily how to be a lawyer. So a lot of times our first jobs are where we get like all of our mentorship to learn how to actually do the practice of law. Yeah. So I'm really excited to kind of do the experiential part, since I did all of the studying and reading books and stuff like that. So I'm excited just to go there, become as great of an attorney as I can be, and then hopefully affect change from there. I don't have like a particular trajectory. I just know that while I occupy the space of a lawyer, I want to make sure that I'm making it a more inclusive sphere for people, whether it be like on the client side or within like the actual like attorney base. So that's kind of what I do.
No doubt.
Yeah, no doubt. So since you are a recent graduate, what is your biggest revelation from law school?
I think if you were to ask me this question last year, I would be like, nobody go to law school. Yeah. And I think some of that, I think most people that come out of law school are a little bit bitter about the experience, but it also kind of feels like a blur at this point. But I think what I've my biggest takeaway really relates to mental health, which kind of like relates to your last this past week's episode. But I felt like it was the part that I had to learn the most outside of like the actual classroom space is really taking care of myself, because nobody gives you like a handbook on like how to do law school when you start. You know, they kind of like figure it out.
Yeah.
Some people from, backgrounds with tons of lawyers, like in their family or their, just network, are able to like kind of find out how to do the process. But I'm a first generation born American, and my parents, I don't have anyone in my family that's lawyers. So I'm going to be the first one. So it took me a little bit of time to kind of figure out the process, but I definitely felt like taking care of my mental health was the way that I was able to succeed through law school. And I want that to be like the takeaway for most people, since I remember my first day of orientation at law school, they put up this like presentation and said that like law school students out of every other like graduate program, like the most likely to be depressed. And
damn.
Anxiety. And I was like, oh, great. What did I just get myself into?
Dang. So did they put you all on suicide watch?
What? Damn. That's a little intense, bro.
I mean, I'm sorry to take it there, but like, I just want to know.
I think that there's a lot of room for improvement in the law school space as far as taking care of like the students' mental health and providing services. But it's kind of hard because it's such a demanding program that requires a lot of hours, and sometimes that doesn't necessarily go hand in hand.
Yeah. I heard the same thing about medical school.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is demanding and such. Right. Was there, I guess I'm just kind of to piggyback off that last question. You work your way through law school. Congratulations again. That's super dope. You're now entering the practice. Was there an experience that you can speak to that was, really eye-opening, or that really touched you in any specific way?
Yeah, I think that's the reason why I'm here today. I joined a clinic at my school. It's called the Post-Conviction Justice Project, PCJ for short. Anybody that's interested in going to law school, interested in doing anything as it relates to criminal law, should definitely check out that clinic. I know a lot of people go to USC just to do that clinic. The professors that lead the clinic, Heidi Rummel and Michael Brennan, are phenomenal, and they're great mentors to learn from. But yeah, that experience, the year-long commitment, really shaped the way that I saw the legal system. I was pretty I was looking at it pretty negatively up into that, because a lot of it was just like doctrinal stuff. And I was reading cases that I thought could have been, decided better, and I didn't have the experiential learning part. So the clinic gave me the opportunity to actually put all of the knowledge that I had into action. And it was also, I think, a great place for me to do some moral work, because a lot of our clients had in the clinic had committed murder. And that was kind of the first time for me that I had ever had to really think about, redemption and people that have, committed what we would call, heinous crimes, and really square that with, how I was going to do this actual,
that's interesting.
profession. So, it was a great opportunity because, like you said, it really opened my eyes. And it really, if you don't have personal experience growing up in communities that are severely impacted by the law, it could feel very distant. And the stories lose a lot of the humanity. And I felt like that was the first time I was able to kind of see some humanity in the law. And I was excited to be able to represent somebody who I thought was absolutely deserving of a second chance. So
that's dope. That's dope.
That's dope.
Yeah, that's very dope. And that kind of just ties into the other guest that we have here as well. I know you wanted to, we didn't want to do the introduction, but we wanted to give you the table to,
let me go ahead. The individual I was talking about who's on the show tonight, his name is Anthony Ammons. He's my former client that I was able to work with. We went to his parole hearing back in December of 2020, and he was found suitable for parole, and he was released just this past April.
Oh, yes. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and get the board queue up. Applause, please, for our next special guest, Anthony Ammons, ladies and gentlemen.
How you doing?
What's going on, brother?
What is going on,
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. It is an absolute honor for you to be, to bless us with your presence here on the Potnas podcast, and to share your perspective on, and to share your actual story. So without further ado, Anthony, if you could just give us a little bit of introduction of yourself, and then, I'll just go ahead. We'll go ahead and give you the whole stage, my man.
Okay. Where you want me to start?
Well, tell us a little bit about about yourself, like where you're from.
Where you from?
Where you originally from, where you at now, and and then we'll get into the formalities of your actual story.
Okay, so I'm from Los Angeles, California, born and raised, and basketball player. Grew up playing sports.
Nice.
Walked into gangs early, about 11 years old.
Okay.
Because there's a rule that says in California, when you first do something with a gang, then you're a part of that gang by association.
Mm-hmm.
So the first time I stole something was at 11 years old for the benefit of me and my peers. So technically that was gang activity. Now 20, I went to prison at 16 years old for murder and 2 attempted murders. I was to 102 years to life for that crime. I was subsequently, based on my rehabilitation and change in 2018, Governor Jerry Brown, upon my request for a commutation of sentence, commuted my sentence November 21st, 2018, and he commuted my sentence to 19 years to life. And I still had to go to board to show that I should be granted release, that I can be suitable. Upon release. I was denied parole my first time because of my history in prison with cell phones and fights and things like that. However, after working with Gabby, My last hearing in 2020, I was found suitable.
Wow.
That's what's
Wow.
up. That's what's up.
Hey,
Well, congrats on that.
Yes,
Yeah,
congrats
that's a
on that,
blessing.
and let's get some applause going for
Yeah.
that, man.
Welcome back to the free world too, brother.
Absolutely.
No, for
Now,
real.
can I ask you, are you back in LA?
No, I chose to parole in Oakland, California.
Oakland, California. Hold on, let's get some horns going on. Bay Area. Let's get exposed one time, baby. Boom.
Why does he?
Yes.
It was much more of a need for me to parole up here to figure myself out because we all have these plans, guys in prison that, oh, I'm going to go do this and this and that. Well, you actually only have an idea until you get out here. Then some of our ideas don't follow suit.
Mm-hmm.
So it was much more of a support as an African American to parole up here than it was.
Okay. I'm curious. I mean, because I think that's the story with most of our people. Unfortunately, I believe is that, you know, that's like your story is not foreign to us in terms of, you know, some of the variables that affected your life we've either seen or lived ourselves. And so I'm curious, a part of you coming back to Oakland as opposed to LA was a part of that kind of, you know, changing your environment a bit. Like, do you feel that had a factor mentally with you coming home?
100%. It was like, let me figure me out before I can be with everybody else.
Yeah.
Because I love my family and all my family is down in LA, but it was about me. It wasn't about them.
No doubt. Yeah.
Because if I made it about them, then I'm going down there catering to their needs and forgetting about what I need.
For sure.
And all my life, I've been wanting to please everybody else. Like one of my biggest things growing up was self-worth and insecurity. I had those problems. So I put my self-worth in everybody else.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What you think about me? Okay, that's what I'm going to be. What you think about me? That's what I'm going to be. Instead of what I feel about myself.
Yeah. That's real.
Yeah, that's really
dangerous,
interesting.
So
Yeah.
I had to sit up here and come to the Bay Area to where I had associates that were doing proactive things in the right community that's going to help me better myself. And as I still focus on my self-worth, and because I still deal with self-worth and insecurity, just because I've addressed it doesn't mean it's over with, right?
Yeah. As do we all, I think.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I think we talked about it in the before episode. I think, well, one question I want to go back to a little bit from the beginning. 11 years old, you said you caught yourself being involved with, you know, gang related activity. And then 5 years later, correct? That's when 16 years old. Take me back to that time, I guess. Or you get the sentence, you understand what's going on. But at 16, how does that, so I'm assuming now, obviously you're much older, right? You know, how I think now, how I act now is way different than I did in 16. What was going through your head? What was your mindset? Like, how were you from a standpoint of just understanding what was going on? Like, can you talk about that? Kind of like elaborate on that?
Yeah. So for one, I didn't understand the criminal justice system at all.
Yeah.
All I knew was what everybody was against me. All I knew was it was because I was Black.
Yeah.
I never stepped outside of myself to realize that I actually committed a crime.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
And today I can see that going in at 16, I was scared. I felt lonely.
Yeah.
Right. I wanted a hug from my mom. At the same time, I wanted to be tough.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to impress everybody. Wow. And when I heard the 102 years to life, so I always look at my transcripts and I still have them today, and how naive I was to the system it shook my soul, right?
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, it's like, nah, this can't happen. So I stupidly asked the judge so I get the parole. Right?
Yeah.
He looked at me with this look. He said, huh?
Parole.
And I said, so I get the parole. He said, yeah, if you live a very, 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 very long time.
Wow.
And I said, so I get the parole though. You know, and that's all I knew in my head.
Right.
Yeah.
That at some point, it's not over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get the opportunity to redeem myself and to get back into society and reintegrate.
But I still didn't even understand what the question I was asking.
Yeah,
right? Because
for sure. Yeah.
at the prison, I was doing things counterproductive to me paroling.
Yeah.
Right. So
that piece right there, man, I think is so interesting because our people live in this world, this dichotomy where a lot of what we know and what we do is counterproductive to what we think we want or where we're trying to go. And so even hearing you talk about that is like, you know, man, I was terrified. I just wanted to hug my mama, bro. Like, that's, of course, duh.
Yeah, we don't communicate that enough.
But exactly.
And what's broadcasted, you know, is
we gotta
what
be tough.
said. Yeah, it's, you know, it's about, you know, the gangs getting the girls, getting the money, getting the vehicles and the materialistic things, right? And what's interesting is that I brought it up earlier in the episode in terms of just when I asked Gabby to explain corporate litigation, right? And just getting a little bit more in detail and context about what law is, right? You know, and I think, you know, you kind of touched base on it. At 16 years old, you weren't, you know, you were completely naive.
You only know what you're exposed to.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, were you, I have a question, if you're comfortable with answering it. Was this your first conviction, like at 16, or were you previously convicted as well?
I was previously convicted of selling crack cocaine at 15 years old. I think that was like December, right before I actually committed this crime.
Okay, but this crime, 16, you were convicted as an adult, correct?
Yes, so I was tried as an adult.
Yeah,
in California, which is a high rate. We have a high rate of trying juveniles as an adult.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I believe we have more juveniles in prison than in any other state, I believe. But they're they're trying, but not hard enough, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, understanding the system was rough.
What does hard enough look like? I mean, you've been through the system, right? So
hard enough looks like you have a governor in California that and this is me being hurt by what he's doing.
No doubt.
Even I halfway support him. Trying hard enough is he's closed the CYAs in California, right? Those are California youth authorities. That's where you go to once you commit a crime, camps and things like that. You close them, but you where are you going to send the juveniles now? Yeah. So now there is only one place to send the juveniles. And that's the prison.
That's the prison. Yeah.
And CYAs.
If you want to stop them from the prison, then you make more CYAs and rehabilitative efforts for them to do that. Right. And he kind of contradicted himself. He took the CYAs out of the hands of CDCR, which is the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, and put it in the hands of health code and safety.
Yeah.
Which is cool. But why are you not building more facilities for that?
Right.
I'm not saying build more facilities. That's not what I'm advocating for. I'm advocating for we need to better handle our juveniles.
Yeah.
And figure out how to deal with them. My big thing is we're worried about we have science in school, we have mathematics in school, we have social studies in school, we have all these things to make our young kids in America as a whole successful. But we don't have anything to talk about our feelings.
Man, that's you went exactly where I was going. No doubt. I love it.
We don't have anything to open the door. What's going on in home? How are you doing? Are you communicating with your family? Do you know how to communicate your feelings and what's going on?
Right.
We don't have that. And I believe that's a big problem in America as a whole.
And especially, brother, especially for our people, because I'm just thinking, listen, we've talked about how many times we talked about mental health. Just last episode, we were talking about taking care of ourselves, self-care. Like we don't talk about that. No. Like black men don't talk about. Listen, my first time trying meditation was with my lady, and I told her I'm not trying yoga because I'm not trying to be caught in anybody's downward dog. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't gonna lie, I like yoga, bro.
Really? Yeah.
And you get where I'm going. I love it. Like it's calming.
Yeah.
And then like when I did it, I was like, yo, I feel so great. Like I'm limber. Yeah. My greater point is you hit on it, man. That's what I was gonna ask you. Was like, I think that's a piece that's really, really, really missing. And be it in schools or listen, I've always had this mindset where if you're not gonna learn it in the schoolhouse, then you gotta learn it at home. The problem is a lot of times we don't have the domestic infrastructure to learn these things at home. And then more importantly, the people at home don't even know themselves. So, I don't know if it's a sense of community, right? Yeah. But I think that's a big part of it, right? Like we gotta take hold of our own mental health. We gotta educate the youth on things like financial literacy and, these types of things we don't even know about.
Yeah.
And so,
you brought up a great point. It's about, whatever you can't learn in school, you got to learn at home.
Yeah.
And I want to ask you, what did your home look like? Did you have a 2-parent household at the time, prior to your conviction that led to the 102 year sentencing, right? That eventually turned into 19 years to life. Like, was your mother and your father present as well?
No. So, and thanks to Gabby help, I was able to figure out some things. I was able to figure out that even though my mother was there, she was a drug addict. However, I was abandoned emotionally.
Yeah.
Right. And we don't talk about that in our neighborhoods neither. My father was there. He was a gang member. Both my parents were gang members. So I grew up in that culture, in that lifestyle, that this was the way I was supposed to live. Even though my body said, don't do it, I felt to get that approval that I needed to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So seeing these growing up, I seen my first murder when I was 8.
Wow.
8 years old.
All I was told was, hey, stuff it down. No, 11. I'm sorry about that. 11. I think 11 and 12. I remember.
I mean, that's still,
All I was told was, one day I seen a murder. Oh, go to school.
Swallow that.
Oh my God.
Wow. Hold it down.
So how am I to deal with this issue? Matter of fact, being that I can't even communicate about it, right? So now I'm swallowing it and pushing it down. So, right? So how am I supposed to talk to you about it? How am I supposed to talk to somebody else when I can't talk to my mom about it?
Yeah. Oh, of course. Right? Yeah.
And the police sitting there asking questions. My mom was like, oh, he don't know nothing. Go to school, boy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Which I understand her fear at the time. I get it, but I don't understand it.
Right.
Because that's something that, hey, how do you feel about that happening? What's going on with you? What's coming up for you? You know, these feelings are something we need to ask our children. But sorry, back to your question. That was my household. Growing up, again, I played basketball and I was pretty good. But when I looked in the stands, I saw nobody. Right. And then I'll come home and my mom was like, how was your game? My mentality was like, you should have been there.
Yeah, no doubt.
Right? But it was good. I played well. And she's always bragging about, oh, he's going to go to college. He's going to do this, but you're not supporting that behavior.
Right. Do you have any siblings, Anthony?
Yeah, I have a sister who's in Vegas, and I have a brother with the same dad, different mother, who's doing pretty good.
Were they living with you at the time? Like, are they older or? Yeah.
Yeah, my sister was older. She lived with us, but she left at 16.
Left at 16.
Yeah, she's doing good now with her and her husband and her 3 kids.
Yeah. Props to them, for sure. Yeah, and you said that your father was incarcerated at the time too? Like,
yeah, my father he's been in and out of prisons for 26 years.
Wow.
He was, when I got to prison, which was weird, was everybody knew I was coming because of my father.
That's what I was going to ask you. So that's wild. That's wild.
Yeah, because of his reputation, everybody knew who I was.
And so I'm thinking, right, having family who've gone through similar situations, that can work, that can bode well for you, or that can go real, not, that can work against you, I suppose. Yeah. When you land, you get to prison, people know you're coming because your pops he has a reputation. Yeah. What is that mentally, I guess? And we kind of asked about your headspace back, when you were a little one. Now you're in prison, you've committed the crime, you're serving this time, you spent some time there. So, it's a completely different world, that I understand. But what is your headspace when you're there? And especially knowing that I'm sure you probably haven't processed this at the time, but you've kind of perpetuated this, this cycle. You're in the same space as your pops. What kind of headspace does that put you in? What's your thought process during that time?
My thought process was how tough I was, how hard I could walk with my chest out because of his name. And now I'm developing my own reputation, even though people like you, just like your dad, I ain't nothing like that dude. But yet I'm using his reputation to enhance my own.
Did that get you some clout coming in to the system?
No. It kind of just made a lot of, so I was a blood. So it made a lot of dudes embrace me.
Right.
So my dad were known by Bloods and, oh, you Amp son. Like, yeah, I'm Amp son. So now I get to walk with my chest out.
You got a little,
Right. And it made me toughen my image, the image I was trying to build for myself as this quote unquote gang member, whether we realize it or not. Something that I realized working with Gabby again is that I was given a gang name and I wanted to live up to that. So my gang name was Baby Durham. So I had to live up to that name in order to always establish that that's who I am.
You got to do
almost in a sense of protection too. It's like if I don't live up to this name, they're gonna try to kill me.
Or they're gonna try me, even if they're not trying to take your life. They're gonna try you for sure. Like that's okay. I'm curious because you said something real key right there. You were like, okay, I'm not like my pops, but you are. And they telling you just like Amp, right?
Yeah.
What was your relationship with your pops at the time?
Very estranged.
Okay. Yeah.
Very estranged. I think the last time I seen him, I was 13 years old up until I was 28.
Wow. Okay.
And I didn't even want to see him at that time because I was fearful of how I would act.
Yeah.
I didn't know this was a real life situation. It's finally coming to head. Do I go see this dude? He wanted to come visit me. He's doing the right thing now. How do I act? So I tell my brother, hey, you better come with this dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I don't know my feelings. I know what I think I'm going to do, but I don't know how I'm going to react towards my feelings.
Yeah, for sure.
And when I seen him in the visiting room, when I hugged him, I swear all my questions dissipated.
Yeah. Yeah.
For the first time in my life, like I felt like a son.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
Right?
powerful.
Yeah, that is.
So I have a question for you. And I want to kind of move up a little bit, like when you turn the switch, right? 16, you're in. At a certain point, you know, I'm curious about the rehabilitation process. So, like, at what point did you kind of in your head think, all right, you know, I want to do something different? I mean, I just want to kind of talk through like your journey through prison, getting to the point where you know are out. But before that, and at what point was there like a switch for you? Like,
when did
okay,
it click?
Yeah, when did it click? I'm sorry, let's say that better. When did it click for you?
I can't say that I was looking for it.
Yeah,
I can't sit here and say. I mean, my earliest possible release date was 2103, March 30th.
Right.
That was my first parole hearing, right? So I can't say that I was looking for it. What happened that made me slightly think differently was in 2007, I got my high school diploma.
Okay,
that's what's up.
That's beautiful.
So
Hey,
the self-worth that I was that I was putting in everybody else, I finally started to feel something different.
There we
Yeah.
go.
You
Okay.
start putting that energy. You put the energy into yourself.
Exactly. And I didn't know what the hell that was.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I was frustrated that I didn't know what these feelings was. Like, what is going on?
So how'd you work through that, bro? Like, how did you navigate those waters? Not having the tools to really understand what's going on. You contending with these feelings you don't know, and you're doing for you. How did you navigate that? Like, how did you find the way to process? Like, how'd you process that?
Asking questions. Okay. I had a guy named Ronald Keynes. He was my big homie from my neighborhood, and I felt safe enough with him to ask questions.
Yeah.
I said, what is this feeling that I'm feeling inside of me? He was like, oh, you feel good? And I said, yeah. He said, bro, that's your fault.
Yeah, that's what's up.
that's beautiful, man.
Wanted to know more about it.
Right.
And as I wanted to know more about it, I started to question myself on, dude, you're not no gang member.
Yeah. Yeah.
However, I could not leave the game because I didn't know the rules of the situation.
Yeah.
Even though I was gang banging, I didn't know the rules of can I walk away?
Yeah.
What can I do?
Yeah.
Right.
I was scared to even ask him, but I was like, what? So I said, what can he say, man? If you want to walk away, you cannot play both sides of the fence.
Yeah.
African Americans are different from Hispanics and whites in California prisons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I want to
Can
walk
you
away.
explain that, Anthony? Because I think the California prison system, I don't know about other prison systems, but the way that you get classified in the prisons is like very specific. And I think that it's worth understanding.
Okay. So in California prisons, you get broken down into groups. You get segregated, one amongst races.
Yeah.
Black, Hispanic, white, and others, which is others consist of Samoan,
Asians, what? Yeah.
basically all those. So, and blacks in California, we have our own segregation amongst each other.
Mm-hmm.
We have Bloods, Crips, Bay Areas, 415. These are called paper race, and there's a whole details. I go into that. So it's in doing that, I'm responsible to the Bloods alone. But then you also have those who are non-affiliates who don't affiliate with
That's
gangs,
what I was nice about. Okay.
right? And they don't get a lot of people. Oh, they get victimized. No, not really. If you're on level 4, are you expected? If you're a black and you're a non-affiliate, you're expected for every riot. If we have a race riot, you expect it to be there, or you will be hurt.
So they break up the blacks into categories.
I knew it
into
was segregation.
subcategories.
Yeah, I knew
That's
that.
insane. So we're not even classified
can only,
as blacks.
like,
It's like
I can only sell with Bloods. Crips can only sell with Crips. So yeah,
and that's the prison system. That's not like internal like
no. They do it. They ask you when you get to prison. What are you?
because they don't want to have you in a cell with a different.
rival
Yeah,
set,
yeah,
and
that makes
that's
sense.
problems. Okay,
Yeah.
But you said something. You
They
said
created this.
yeah, that's crazy,
Right.
man. That's crazy.
so that's the difference between other prison systems and incarceration. Wow.
And I'm sure there's some of that maybe in other systems, but what I'm hearing, yo, is that like this is the streets concentrated. Like you are in close proximity with people that could be rival sets, and like I mean, so that's almost scarier than
yeah. I could see like where they're like, okay, we want to keep two different gangs from being in the same cell, but almost it's like you're almost like creating another like system inside the and
well, they do, and what happens is, so the rules of prison is don't bring street shit to the prison.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if I hurt somebody's family that was a Crip and hurt their brother coming to prison, he got to let that go.
Oh, that's tough. What?
Yeah, you got to let that go, or else there's going to be a whole different issue between the Bloods and the Crips.
That you could be starting.
So how does the system massage that and mitigate it down to like the tension whenever both sides enter the room for lunch or for is there ever a time
Politics,
like
you gotta
where different groups in the system interact and engage with each other? Is it like whenever y'all go out?
He mentioned riots earlier.
Oh yeah, no. See, the thing about the black race, we're cool.
Yeah.
Right.
One of my best friends was one of my worst enemies.
So it's more
Wow, that's
Right?
the irony,
That's
yo. That's
crazy.
real.
Right? One of my best friends was from a rival gang, and today he's one of my best friends.
Yeah.
In prison, the black race is together.
That's what I mean. That's a beautiful
However,
thing.
we will beef with each other upon issues.
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
because you mentioned you said
I can play basketball with Crips, Bloods, everybody, but it's very complicated and complex.
yeah. You was talking about riots. You said if we riot and you are non-affiliated and you don't jump in, then we got a problem with you, right?
Oh, they come. You getting it's gonna be based on where you from. If you're from San Diego, San Diego people gonna handle you.
Okay, yeah. So it seems like it's about respect at that point. It's just like
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, that's like the main underlying thing, I think, especially with black men. And that's concentrated in the prison system.
Yeah.
Like you got to wear it. Like he said, wear it on your chest, literally.
Yeah.
So
I think that the irony of that, though, is that whenever you go to board, and if you're like affiliated with a gang, you have to disassociate yourself, or else you're not getting out. So for the prison system to be creating these groups around them, it just it seems counterintuitive, right?
Yeah.
So it's like it's difficult because we've talked about a lot of different things, and I know as like a black community we're like, okay, we're going to take on the resposibly and change all of these things, but there's a lot of external forces that are be acknowledged.
We should acknowledge for sure.
Yeah. Right? Like, so it's systemically created, and I just want to put that in there.
Yeah, and I also want to just throw my grudge with the system is the fact that Anthony was sentenced to 102 years at 16 years old, right? Like, do we know anybody that's lived past 90?
No, I mean,
But that's the goal.
You know what I mean?
I guess.
it's like
Listen, that's the point, though.
That's
They didn't want him to get. They didn't want him out. They didn't want him to get out.
It's literally like a slap in a spat to the face. It's like, hey, I'm gonna give you the longest sentence because I know you're not even gonna see the light of day again, and because of your affiliation with gangs. Good luck for you to even last like 2 months into the system.
They didn't want him out.
And then the fact that, when Anthony asked about parole, at one of his hearings, it's like, what do you mean parole? Well, sir, could you please educate me? But, no, it's not my
It's
place.
not his place to do so. They don't.
So,
that's the goal, though, is to keep you uneducated.
But I think the goal, and I'll let Anthony speak on this more as well. But I think the way to change the system is to get more of us into the system that have these upbringings and experiences that we can implement and integrate and be able to shape shift the system to play in our favor. So, for example, with Gabby sharing her story, right? You know, how she experienced, you know, and had many experiences in the court in the court. She is applying that to, she's getting involved into the system.
I see what you're saying. Like being the change she wants to see.
The change agent. Yeah.
Change
absolutely.
agent. Yeah, for sure. I got you. Yeah.
And so I think that Anthony was touching on that earlier too, is, you know, the CYAs. He wants to see more of that come to fruition and stay in place and become more of a robust system for the juveniles to be able to receive mentorship.
Yeah. Now, Anthony, I have a question. I'm ignorant to this, so I'm just asking about like how it works. But, all right. So you're 16. You mentioned like, I'm kind of maneuvering, and you talked about, you never had really anybody to speak with in regards to like how I'm communicating with my parents, how I'm doing this, how I'm doing that. Does the system have something in place for y'all? Like, I mean, it may sound funny, but like, do y'all, is it like, or is that something that you wish to see where you can like, not even like a counselor. I'm trying to like, I don't know what the word would be. You know what I'm saying? Like somewhere you can go to while you're,
I think I know the answer.
Yeah, while you're incarcerated and kind of get that guidance to map that out. Like, how do you, otherwise, because in my head, I'm thinking like, is a person kind of have to just find that out themselves? Like, you know what I mean? Like, where's the help at with that?
So in prison, you have what we call self-help groups.
Okay.
And that's along the line of rehabilitation. But for the most part, you have counselors, but they're responsible for if you can, when you transfer, get your points down, and that's a whole nother thing. But you rely on the peers.
Yeah.
Right? You rely on your peers that are doing good. So like, in my rehabilitation and change, back to that question you asked earlier, and I don't know if I answered your question. Did I answer your question correctly?
Yeah, you did. You did. That's pretty much it. It seems like y'all had resources, but I mean, from your perspective, realistically, like, is that something you think really helps individuals, especially who are younger?
Like, when does rehabilitation start?
So when did it start? For me, I would say, again, it deals around the high school diploma when I started feeling that more self-worth, more security within myself. But it also started once I got out of that prison, once I was transferred from that prison, because that prison dealt with nothing but violence and anger and pain, and that was never addressed individually. Yeah. Right. So you never seen anyone go home from a maximum security level 4.
Right.
No one went home as a lifer. Yeah. So as I got down, even though I was still in the criminal lifestyle, I started to take groups and do things that started me to seeing people instead of objects. Yeah. So for a long time in my life, I saw objects. Yeah. Because they were easy to hurt, easy to move out my way, and easy to get status from.
So So with the high school,
I got a job working with these guys, these EOP guys, mentally ill guys. I started to see them as people, and I started to see myself like, damn, I'm helping this dude, and he needs help, and he's relying on me. Yeah. So my perspective started to change.
It's almost like a new purpose. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. And again, I still didn't change my lifestyle though, because my lifestyle was still, I was smoking weed every day. I was drinking damn near all the time. I was doing what I needed to do in order to numb this pain.
To cope. Yeah.
That I didn't want to address. I didn't want to address the part that I murdered an innocent man in front of his wife and his brother-in-law. I didn't want to address that.
Yeah.
Right. So then when I was actually kicked out of that prison for a cell phone and sent to the other prison, San Quentin, about 2012, that's when it started to grow on me. When I see men doing the work in these groups, and it wasn't about the groups itself, it was actively seeing grown men talk about their feelings, being vulnerable, saying, I'm in pain right now, I need to talk.
Yeah, that part. That's good, bro. And I think I think that's a place that we should all strive to get to. Like, I wish brothers had outlets like that. I wish it was normalized for a dude. I saw this earlier. What was it on IG? It was a dude. It's like, have you ever seen a sensitive thug? And it was a dude at his birthday party.
He was crying. Yeah.
I'm like, I mean, let homie live. Why are we laughing at him? Like, I don't understand that piece. But I think that's a beautiful thing right there, bro. It's one thing I don't want to run past that you mentioned that I'm really interested to hear about, if you care to talk about it. You said you took an innocent man's life in front of his people. Yeah. Certainly that, I'm sure at some point, especially in that pivot point, right? When you're starting to get that self-worth, when you're starting to contend with your own emotions, when you're starting to think through and feel these things, there must have been, on this redemptive journey, a point where you're like, damn, well, you had to just sit down and feel and live with that. Tell me a little bit about that, because I'm sure that was tough too. Just hearing you talk about it, I can hear it.
Yeah.
I can hear it. So I'm wondering with that process. I don't want to run past that, because I think that's a big piece for you even to say that and to be so I guess so secure in the fact that, yeah, I did that, but that's not who I am now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So it actually started the first time I actually thought about it and acknowledged what I've done was wrong, even though I did dive deep into it. I would say 2008, 2009, I was drunk in a cell. I ain't gonna even bullshit you.
Yeah. Hey, that's when we have our most emotional moments.
I was drinking in a cell, and I looked at my cellie and I said, man, I murdered an innocent person.
Yeah.
And he, huh? I said, that dude I murdered was innocent. And he didn't deserve to die.
Yeah.
So, and that hurt saying that, but it felt good getting it out.
Yeah.
Because then I can really start to work. And then once I got to San Quentin in 2012, some years later, then I really I was able to hone in on what I did, why I did it, and who they were.
Yeah.
Because I was able to move them out of object sight and into human.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Right. Because my biggest belief is that if we see people as human beings, no matter race, we're much more likely to care for them.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Right.
And
No doubt.
Economic position.
Anthony, I'm touched by, just everything that you've stated so far. Previously, on our first episode of this season, the main topic was talking about cancel culture. And one of the subcategories that we got into, one of the questions that we asked was, a year of forgiveness. Should we have a year of forgiveness? And there was mixed responses and reactions, to that question. I don't think that I actually got to share my stance on that, but hearing Anthony's, standpoint so far, and everything that he's been through and experienced and actually done, and with the crime that he committed, working towards like not only being able to digest it, accept it, and then being able to not necessarily look back, but to look at the road forward and figure out how am I going to work and rehabilitate myself. And I think that it probably starts with self forgiveness. Am I correct,
That
Anthony?
part, yeah,
100%. Because you can't. It's not my place to ask the family for forgiveness. They can dislike me and not forgive me for the rest of Larry's life. That's their choice, and I have to.
Right.
However, for me to move forward in my life, for all those who hurt me, I'm not saying because something led up to me committing this crime. You don't just commit a crime.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So for all those who've hurt me in my past, the abandonment and other things, it's like, I'm not saying I forgive what you've done, but I forgive you.
Yeah.
Because that's helping me move forward and not hold on to this anger.
Yeah.
The more I hold on to this anger, the more I'm not moving forward and living my life.
Right.
Quick question.
Living my life is living for the person I murdered, Mr. Fourier.
Yeah.
That's every day living for him. Because I have to show that his death wasn't in vain.
Yeah.
So that became part of your purpose. It was acknowledging what you did, then embedding that into your heart and having a new sense of purpose. Then moving forward on the path of rehabilitation and redemption, getting your high school diploma. What came after that?
Oh, once I got my high school diploma again, I really started going to groups like in 2012, and I really started to wanting to find myself, and I wanted to get to a place of vulnerability.
Yeah.
To where I can be naked emotionally with anybody without fear of judgment or anything.
Man, that's brave, bro. That's
right. And that took a while. That took a lot of peeling the onion back and opening up wounds and challenging myself to let's do it. Come on, we got to do it. One OG who I'm so happy he did 44 years in California prison. He just got out. He told me like this. He said, "Man, I can't breathe for my victims can't breathe no more, but I can breathe for them."
Wow, man.
And doing and hearing that helped me. Every breath I take, it's like, whoa, yeah, I feel it.
There's a new purpose in it in each breath.
He's rocking with me, right?
Yeah.
I can personalize it, right?
Yeah.
I can feel it. So I started to take groups. I went to a group called Kit Kat, which was great. It's a bunch of juvenile lifers, the first of its kind in the state of California. And what Kit Kat stands for, kids creating awareness together.
Okay.
We're all juvenile lifers, and we all came together we have to ask grown men how to shave in prison. That's not our fathers.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that's weird in and of itself.
Yeah, for sure.
You have to learn.
Yeah.
You have to ask, hey, man, about this, about that. You have to ask, step outside of yourself, because we grew up in prison.
You learn how to be a man, in prison.
Exactly.
That's wow, yeah.
I think one of the biggest helps for me, one of the biggest groups was two of them was Houses of Healing.
Okay.
That was a book written by Robert Cathargian that helped me forgive my parents and the skillfulness. That was powerful because I got to a place where I can understand their stories, understanding my mom's pain in the Army and why she was on drugs and why she was running away from her own pain.
Oh, wow.
And understanding my dad's pain of him growing up in Watts in the projects in Los Angeles and him losing both his parents when he was younger. So he had nobody. So now understanding that, I was able to get to a place to where, you could not be a parent.
Yeah.
Now I get it.
Yeah.
Right. Now I see your pain was pushed on me because you didn't have what you needed and nobody addressed your needs. So you can't address mine.
You can't address it. Yeah. That was something you said earlier in regards to your mom's. What I was thinking, she was bragging on you while also not being there. Right. And
exactly.
So I'm sure she didn't know the harm she was doing. And hearing that is almost testament to that. There's one quick question I have for you that it's a piece of me that's kind of contending with your testimony, your story, so to speak. Have you had communication with the victim's family? I can't remember his name. Have you had any communication with them directly? No. Okay.
In California, it's illegal to do so.
Okay.
What I did do is I wrote letters to Mr. Fourier himself.
Yeah.
To his wife. Brother-in-law, and to his parents.
Okay.
And they're also able to come to the parole hearings as well and make their own impact.
Okay. That's what I figured that part. And did they ever come to any of the parole hearings?
No.
Okay. The reason I asked that question is because I dealt with, again, these are situations we've all lived with, right? I lost my little brother to the streets as well. He also, banging out here is not banging out there. You know what I'm saying? He was a blood, but a blood out here and a blood out there. And it was somebody his same set, right? And so a thing I've always contended with is, and I think I'm in a good place, man. We've talked about this real openly, and this is therapy for us as well. I talked to my brothers about this, we off and on the microphone, but it's forgiveness. You know what I'm saying? Like, the dude, this is somebody from the hood, like, the homie's homie. Like, I know him. We grew up with him. I know him. He played ball with him. And so for that level of treachery, you know what I'm saying? Just on something that's just, like you said, senseless. I have to also, and hearing this is helping me, I'll be honest with you, because they were young then. They were kids. You know what I'm saying? They were young men learning to be men. And they were in a situation they shouldn't have been in, but they didn't have the tools necessary to even process what they had put themselves in, if that makes sense. And so I don't know, I'm just hearing this, and it's kind of helping me even think through that piece, because I think that's one thing that's hard for people on the other side, Mr. Fourier's family side, I'm sure, is, man, I love hearing how you say you found humanity in them and in yourself, right? Because it's real easy to just objectify someone who does that, or on the flip side, objectify the victim, like, man, whatever, whatever the circumstances. So to hear that you found humanity in that, I think that's something that we should all take away, bro. Is just, there's, we're all people, and people make mistakes, and it goes back to, we were talking about cancel culture,
bad decisions.
We all make them.
I can't say it was a mistake because it was a choice.
No doubt. That's good.
But
I have to own that. And if I could offer you something, first of all, my condolences.
Appreciate it.
Who is forgiveness for you or for them?
Oh, it's definitely for me. Because, and it's good. You know, my grandmother said that. She was like, the longer you hold on to it, they good. I mean, him and his people, I could say they good, but like the toxicity resides in me. You holding on to that. And that's why I say I'm in a really good place now, but I know I contended with that for a while. You know, was finding that sense of forgiveness to the point where it was even, you know, speaking his name was like, you know, a problem.
And you seeing him out here thriving still, huh?
No, he's still locked up. He's definitely still locked up.
Okay.
But there was one of the hearings I went to where we went to go eat afterwards, and homie was sitting at the table across from me. I can't even describe to you the feeling I had while I was shaking. I had to leave. Yeah. Actually, they wound up leaving. His mom's caught wind, and they got out of there. Respectfully, because again, he don't come from, I mean, his people aren't out here just to, people are not out, well, I mean, you know, most people are not out here just to wreak havoc and cause chaos, man. They come from, you're a product of your environment, right? So he didn't, you know, his mom doesn't like what he did, but that's her baby. Mm-hmm. And so respectfully, she saw my family knowing what her son had done. They got up and got out of there, got their food to go, and they bounced. But my greater point is, you know, you're absolutely right. Forgiveness is more for you than the other person. But I truly hope people take that, you know, because we got we got a lot of discussion around the whole cancel culture thing. That's big right now. I love the fact that we're speaking so much about redemption. You're a product of that. I congratulate you on your journey, brother, because that's a beautiful thing.
Can I say something? Something you said just struck a chord with me not in a bad way, but so a lot of people say we're a product of our environment. Mm-hmm. To me, that's blaming.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And that's not taking responsibility and choice for the choices we make.
Right.
I do believe environment plays a part in us making those choices. However, we still have a choice at the end of the day.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna bring in Gabby real quick. I don't want to skate through this. I want to kind of ask just about how that connection came apart. Right, you working with Gabby. What did that start off like? What did that look like in the beginning?
For one, it was kind of weird because it was over the phone. Right? Yeah. So all I knew is she was my new attorney.
Okay.
She's my new intern, and I'm working with her. And the first thing that I saw her, she said, "I'm gonna send you questions and answers and all this stuff." I'm like, "Oh shit, she ready." Right? I'm like, she said, "That's the psychology of it." When she got into that, I'm like, "Damn, I'm finna have to work." Right?
Yeah.
But it was, I like the way she listened and she didn't forget, and she came back with her notes and she challenged me and she pushed me.
That's good.
Right. Yeah. To see inside of myself. And not only that, she was comforting and supportive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Which was really nice to see. Not saying my other interns weren't, but it felt different coming from her. And I didn't even know her race.
Right.
I swear I didn't even know her race.
Yeah.
Because I didn't see her.
She had that good phone voice. You can.
Yeah. The first time I actually seen her was the day of board.
Right.
Oh wow.
And it was just like this.
Damn. Okay.
That's interesting.
Like, oh shit.
I want to hear from Gabby too. What was your first reaction to working? You know, and I guess you just give your side of the story as well.
Oh my gosh. It was very overwhelming. Mind you, this was like the thick of like that second wave of COVID, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Usually we're able to go to the prisons and like actually interact with our clients in person. And that's a really important part of like establishing trust, right? Yeah. For some of our clients, like we're the first people that they're telling these stories to, right? Like they might be telling the entire truth. So it's really, really important that we establish the trust so that, we get all the information that we can get so that we can present them in the best light towards the board. So I was like, how is this going to happen? And trying to even schedule calls was really, really hard. I don't know if, we talk a lot about how COVID has impacted, everybody on the outside, but I don't think people understood just what the impact was for people who were in prison. And it ran the gamut from just like the numbers of people that were getting infected and dying, but just also the way that the lack of support that the prison system had for like their actual inmates and making sure that they were prepared going to board. So when I had got Anthony as a client, we were like 3 months out from board. And I was like, okay, well, I need to talk to him like every week, every other week. And they're like, oh, we can't do that until it's like 30 days out. I was like, 30 days out? Like, we cannot do that. I'm not doing my job. I'm not, zealously representing him, like the the oath that I took.
Yeah.
Right.
So it was definitely overwhelming. When I got his case, I mean, I had to sift through like 800 pieces of documents.
Ooh, wow.
Right? And I was sitting there like bawling when I had to read through everything because it was, you know, at this point I had never met him, but you know, you really get to see like the entire, like, you know, person. Like I know more about Anthony than I probably do anybody else. Right.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
it's such a, you know, I do take, you know, a lot of pride in this position because people are trusting their entire lives with you.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's
yeah.
an honor and a privilege. But yeah, when I got on the phone with him, I was scared. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. You know, they kind of like threw us in and just like figure it out. And I was like, ugh. So because I knew he had went to board before, you know, I was like, okay, we're not starting from scratch here. And he was also like very put together, ready to work. So it was like it was a great first client to kind of interact with because that's not always, yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to Gabby for being part of that rehabilitation process for Anthony, for you to be able to, you know, not only just get to know him and know his whole entire life story, right? But to help build a case, you know, for him to have a redemption, a second chance at life. You know, you were part of that process. And Anthony, I kind of want to take it back to, you know, where you were sharing, you know, what happened after the high school diploma, right? You getting yourself, you know, furthering your education and then meeting with your parents and then being able to forgive them, right? Because I can only imagine how hard it was for you mentally, physically, emotionally, right? To looking for somebody to blame. Like, there's a reason why I'm this way, but you getting yourself educated enough to the point to where you now understand okay, they're not to blame because they didn't have, you know, a nice foundation for themselves. They didn't have
what they needed.
Right. Mm-hmm. And you, my brother, broke the chain.
Yeah,
you stopped. You broke the chain. You broke the curse for your family, for your friends, your network around you, the mentors and the mentees that are connected to you. You set a whole new course of life and a course of action and a course of purpose, you know, so definitely kudos to you. You know, at this point, I definitely want to hit that applause button because, you know, just to both of y'all, Gabby and to Anthony, just, wow, the strides that y'all have made. The story is 100%. Beautiful. And, you know, I think at this point, I just want to kind of, you know, segue into the you know, what are you doing now? Now that you're free, Anthony, like what's going on? What is your story? Yeah, what is next? What is happening?
I'm still figuring me out. Figuring myself out here, but I do small time jobs. The Warriors gave me a job doing elevator thingy. Elevator operator.
What's up?
Also, that's why you went to the Bay. Okay, all right.
Well, I know so I'm friends with the general manager and the owner's son.
Casual.
I mean, throw that out there. Yeah, humble brag. Yeah, that's my humble.
No, so they come in to play us in basketball every year in San Quentin.
Yeah. Okay.
So that happened. I'm working. I do small time job. I'm working for the studio who did a documentary on our basketball team, the Cue Ball documentary.
Right. It was on Netflix, right?
I work for them doing small time things, security every now and then. And then my favorite job is I'm working every Sunday with this kid who has autism.
Oh, wow. That's what's up.
I'm teaching him basketball in hopes of helping him with his impulsivity.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
So, and right now I'm hoping to be hired by Apple. I had an interview with Apple to see if they're going to hire me for their policy clinic to where they want to spend money on changing the system.
Okay.
So
that's huge. That's big.
Part of that
for sure.
Be the first felon that they hire.
Oh,
becoming an ambassador.
We're gonna claim that.
Hey, Apple. I know y'all listening. Y'all better check him out.
Let me make a couple phone calls.
He's doing
that part.
Right.
So yeah. Other than that, I'm going to school right now. That's what's up. Studying policy.
Nice. Okay.
And just taking my time, being patient with myself, and volunteering across the street at the church to bag food up for the homeless and just give back, man.
That's what's up, bro.
And might I add that, you know, you going through the whole, you know, prison system, having, you know, being gang affiliated at such a young age, barely touching double digits, right? As far as age. You are very well articulate, my brother. You know, you're very well spoken, and you know it's clear and concise. You use your words effectively. You know, you're using the big words. I mean, shoot, you were using bigger words than the dictionary right here. And Dino always uses recluse.
This nigga's convinced.
Dichotomy.
He's convinced that I sit up and read the thesaurus.
Yeah, he definitely reads the thesaurus.
reads a lot.
What'd you say, Gabby?
Anthony reads a lot.
That's important.
Yeah.
You got to feed your mind, bro. I mean, you got to take care of your body. You got to feed your mind.
Self-care.
Too.
That was gonna be my question. So I mean, I hoop too. So hold on. Let me get my question. Can I get my question?
I know you're not about to.
I'm about to ask him a general question.
Right.
Outside of hooping, because obviously, you know, if you hoop, that's a hobby. What are some of the things what are some of the things you're interested in, like just doing, you know, as far as hobbies are concerned or passions outside of that? Like what's something that's like you're eager to get started?
Again, I read a lot right now. I just started a book called The Laws of the Spirit.
Okay.
Just understanding from a sage perspective. I'm learning how I went kayaking, trying to see if that was for me. I was pissed that I was the only person to fall in the water.
Hey, kayaking is hard.
I would say
it is, right?
It's harder than you think.
But, I love it. I find one of my hobbies just seeing the homeless. And that's not a hobby, but it's more so for me to, hey, how you doing? What's your name?
Yeah. It's fulfilling.
You know? And opening up and talking with them for a minute. I don't have a lot of money. I don't have money for them, but I can hopefully encourage them.
And that's worth more, I'm sure.
That's a small thing that I do.
Yeah.
It was something I wanted to learn to do the violin. I don't know why. It was just in my home.
It looks cool.
It's weird, but it's something
that's different. That's cool.
Very much so.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and I run a lot. I jog a lot.
Yeah.
Speaking of running,
I knew it.
Hey, no, we're not gonna get into it, but we literally had a race before. They had a race before this podcast.
Our previous episode, Dino challenged me
to
a race.
So we're not gonna get into that.
We won't get into that.
We ain't gonna get into that.
I will, Anthony. I feel like that the question is about to come from Courtney. I think he's trying to figure out and see what your basketball skills are like. So we might need to.
I'm not finna.
You're not finna what?
I'll tell you this. I don't hoop my ball.
Oh, damn.
Wait, what was that?
On that
what was
thing.
that?
What? He said he don't hoop. He don't hoop. He balls.
Oh, wow.
He balls, son.
Okay.
What you got to say?
I mean, Pete, look, if you hoop, you really don't have to say much. You know, you just got to
put your money up.
Because I'm not gonna. No. That's good though. Look. For me, it's I hit the gym probably like three times a week. And I grew up hooping, so yeah.
He really don't take that from him, huh? Hey, and we're about to set this.
I'm gonna have to send you some film. I'm gonna send you some film. I'm pretty nice.
No, we gotta get you back. We gotta get you back working out first, because you don't look like me out there running. You look like me out there running today.
I'm nice.
Anthony said, "I don't go by positions. I just do my thing on the court. I play all positions."
Nah, listen, folks. Homie said, I don't hoop, I ball.
Yeah.
Right. First of all, I can't just run past that shit. Like, that shit, the niggas who hoop, I already know.
No, that's good.
Hey, real quick, just on that, because the cue ball joint was dope. I'm curious, to find camaraderie, doing something you already did, inside. I mean, I'm sure that was dope. Just tell me a little bit about that. What was that like?
That whole experience.
And then
right?
Yeah. What was that whole experience like? I mean,
that was nice. A lot of people thought we were doing it for the money, and we didn't get paid a dime.
Yeah, damn.
So, and that was the blessing part. I like to prove people wrong with that.
Yeah.
Say that we were doing it so that kids can see and people can see that we're in prison and we're not the worst state of our lives.
Yeah.
Right. And that we can grow and be better. We can think differently. We can be human beings.
Yeah.
And we can see people as human beings. The situation, it was just a good atmosphere for it.
Yeah. That's what's up. Yeah.
was just a good atmosphere for it. And I appreciated the producers, Jordan Debris and Michael Truligan. They really was there for us, and they're still there for us again. Yeah. I get to work with them at their studio.
Yeah, that's dope.
That showed that it wasn't just about the movie for them.
For sure. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, that really cared about us and they appreciated
that
us.
Human piece. Yeah. That's there. That humanity in it. I think that's like that's threaded throughout this whole joint. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess my last, thought is, as we kind of not wrap this up, but just want to hear from you, from your perspective, someone who's, maybe been in your shoes, or maybe even somebody who's looking on the outside. I think we talked about it before. We mentioned it earlier. A lot of people are quick to, we talked about cancel culture. A lot of people are quick to pass judgment.
Yeah,
a lot of people don't like to have these conversations. Is there something that you would like to maybe say to them? And then also, is there something that you would like to say to someone that may have a similar story to you, right, in your shoes? Just on both ways. Is there like a message you have that you'd like to share?
To the first question, I think most people don't want to have these conversations because we normalize that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Just like we normalize violence in the African American community.
Right.
We normalize that part of not having a conversation. And as we don't normalize it, people that start talking about it, we get fear that asking these questions is stupid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because we put people down, like how you saying, "Oh, why were we laughing at this thug crying?" Because we normalize that.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah.
Right? If he's supposed to be a thug, he's supposed to be tough. He's not supposed to have feelings. Why not? He's a human being.
He's a human being. Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
But because he's portrayed a certain way, everybody looks at him that certain way.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think a lot of times too, people don't want to have these conversations because they're afraid of their own thoughts.
Challenging people, their own.
Yeah, they don't want to hear themselves. They don't believe in themselves. Right. And to somebody that's possibly in my situation, one thing, is not my job to change their minds. It's my hope that they'll hear the information and want to challenge their own minds.
Yeah.
To challenge themselves, to see what are they doing. And I want to tell them, I see you. I appreciate you, and that you're worth it, and that you're worthy of your own love and love from everybody else.
That's good.
That's powerful.
No doubt.
Anthony, thank you so much for your time, for all the gems that you provided, and just your presence, man. I mean, like, it's a true blessing. We are so thankful just to, present you somewhat of a platform for you to, share your story and have all this to say. Gabby, thank you so much for just presenting us the opportunity and bringing Anthony on to be able to share his story of rehabilitation. And yeah, I know I'm leaving this conversation a whole new person.
Oh, facts, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
This was good. This was hell. I'm telling you, this was therapy for me, G. Straight up. Congrats to both of you, by the way.
Yeah.
Big congrats to you both.
Appreciate you guys having a platform, not just for me, but just for us and yourselves.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
And doing positive things to where you're not in the streets and you're helping people come out of the streets. Like, one of the worst things I see. So my brother's a model, right? One of the best things he taught me was, why is it strange for a black man in the neighborhood to be a model?
Yeah.
Right.
Breaking down stigmas.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we have to come out of those stereotypes of what we can be.
Yep.
Who we can be.
And starts.
You guys for showing that and modeling that, right? As well as Gabby.
Yeah. No doubt.
Change the game.
Yeah,
right?
I might and
you never know.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that.
Now, I was going to say, I mean, you said it earlier, but for me, this opportunity to speak with you and speak with other people is giving us an opportunity to just speak it out loud. And you mentioned it in your story. And it kind of goes back to one thing I heard was, you can't heal what you don't reveal, right? But and a sense of just everything, just speaking out and hearing your story and talking through it with everyone. I mean, for me, I've learned so much between where we started with this podcast and where we are now and where we plan to go.
Facts.
So yeah, I just want to mirror that and just say I appreciate it. we typically do what's called a toast at the end. And go ahead.
Oh, you want me?
No. I was gonna ask. Go ahead.
Yeah. All right. So Anthony, like Courtney alluded to, at this part of the show, we get into our traditional segment called the toast. And, of course, the toast is a sense of community for, our network, our brotherhood and sisterhood of that matter, just our community, right? And, we don't know if you drink, but whatever.
I was about to say that.
Glass of water.
Legally, I can't, but what I will do is put my hand here and honor you kings and you.
Absolutely. And so we're going to get our dose of liquid courage, Gabby.
Spirits.
Whatever. If you have Minute Maid, any type of lyric.
She was sipping water earlier.
Lyric.
I know I had water. I know that's not really good.
Yeah, that's fine.
No, it's Friday.
No, it's okay.
Get some champagne, get some anything.
However you want to.
I'm gonna stand in solidarity with him.
Yeah,
There we go.
There you go.
I love it.
So Anthony, we actually going to flip this on you and Gabby for you all. We want to put it in your hands for you all to make the toast. So
that's special. First time.
That's the first time.
That's the first time on our
Guest
show.
never done the
Absolutely.
toast.
So Gabby, if you want to kind of start first.
What we toasting to today?
Yeah, what we toasting to, Gabby?
We are toasting to more people like us affecting change that not only impacts our community but the world.
Yes.
Amen.
That we're encouraging, we're offering healing and motivation, inspiration for people to be their best selves.
Amen. And you want a back door on that one?
Come on, Ann.
Nope. Said it all.
Smart man.
I love it.
Hey,
He's like, what she said.
if you love it, we adore it. Hey, cheers.
Thank you
to you all.
Thank you.
Gabby, Anthony, thank you so much. All right.
Yes, guys.
Clink, clink, clink.
If anybody listening, ever wants to chat about going to law school and, the whole process, I'm sure JT will, with his phenomenal advertising and marketing, will.
They can get at you directly. You don't get your handles out.
Oh yeah, we can actually get into that right now. But before, because I know the conclusion music is going to be long enough for 5 people to throw it in there.
Well, before that, Gabby, do you have anything else you want to add in the end?
Any final thoughts?
Oh, yeah, I mean, I'm here as a resource. If anybody's just interested in going into the legal pathway or just to chat, I'm happy to do that. And I'm hoping that from this conversation, people will kind of spend some more time thinking about redemption. I know a lot of times when we talk about the criminal justice system, we think a lot about pre-conviction stuff and not about people who've already went to prison, and especially not those who have committed certain types of crimes like Anthony. And I think there's a lot of space there for us to learn and to be accepting, because, there's lots of people like Anthony that have completely turned their lives around and are just so willing to help make this world a better place. And I think they all deserve an opportunity.
Yeah, that was great.
Absolutely. How can they get in touch with you, Gabby?
This sounds really informal, but you can just DM me.
Watch them DMs though, not too much. She tied it.
She's like, you can DM me about legal.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you.
She tied it with the homie, not too much in the DMs. So watch them DMs.
You can just message me on Instagram. I don't have a good email.
You don't have a webpage yet? That's in the works, huh?
Dang, you're putting on the spotlight there?
Damn, bro.
You got your webpage up yet?
together?
I don't know. But I think that's how I
good for that.
people, and from there I can come up with different ways. But yeah.
So what's your Instagram handle?
It is Gabby Alexis, but I think it's Gabby with 2 Y's, so GABBYY, and then Alexis ALEXISS.
All right,
perfect.
There we go.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Anthony, you want to go ahead and let the people know, let the world know how they can get in touch with you, my brother?
Instagram, @_Ammons.
Okay,
no doubt.
How do you spell Ammons?
I believe my ANT_AMMONS.
All right, cool. That part, huh?
Yeah.
And I would just say, any final thoughts, Ant, that you want to leave us with before we depart?
I'm just thankful that we was able to sit down and what we call it in prison. Let's have the uncomfortable conversation comfortably.
Yeah.
Let's get comfortable in the uncomfortable conversation.
Already.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, just want to honor Gabby, right, for the work that she's doing and appreciate her, like for not only just fighting for me, but fighting with me and those others that she's helped and that she's going to help in the future.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. Dino, I think it's time, brother. Go ahead and take us out, man. All right. Ladies and gentlemen,
Partners Podcast.
thank y'all so much for tuning in to episode 17 and tuning into our special, very, very, very special guests, Gabby Rodrigues and Anthony Ammons. Thank y'all so much for sharing this platform with us and just providing your stories and just providing your whole background. Let's get into some social handles, huh? Courtney?
Yep. Social media, Courtney J. Cole. Instagram, Twitter.
Are you okay? You changed your handle?
Did you switch it up?
Was it was always that? No, I'm tripping. Okay, so I'm tripping. All right, so Instagram is Courtney J. Coleman and Twitter is Courtney J. Cole.
Okay, we probably should make them all Courtney J. Cole. You can find me, it's your man's Dino at the dictionary, THE_DIXONARY.
God damn it.
Uh-oh.
I am the magnificent JT Got Soul. You can find me at JT Got SOLE. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok at potnaspodcast.com. Oh, shit. At Potnas Podcast. POTNAS Podcast. All right.
And if you have any inquiries, if you'd like to get in touch with us via email, you can reach us at contact@potnaspodcast.com.
Yeah, we got to get better at all this, y'all.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Our website is www.potnaspodcast.com. That is www.potnaspodcast.com. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Shout out to our special guests. We love y'all too. Hey, Anthony, we coming out to the Bay. We coming out to the Bay to see you, huh?
When?
We're going to coordinate that offline, but I'm just going to let you know. We're going to come out there. We're going to set this balling match.
Oh, no, yeah. Hey, look.
This balling game.
Done.
Ready for that.
I'm going to get
I'll
buckets.
play with no shoes on.
Get that explosion right there.
Hey, I was just about to say I'm going to a Oakland Raiders game, but I forgot. I'm actually going to it's Las Vegas, right? Because I'm going to Vegas. So I'm going to a Las Vegas Raiders game. So I guess we won't be able to link.
Yeah. But okay, separate from that. We coming out
He playing with no shoes on. That's disrespectful.
That's not true. I ain't gonna play with no shoes on. That was just a threat.
Don't do me like that. Don't do me like that.
Anthony, my brother, you are definitely a new founded extended partner.
You one of the partners for sure.
Yes, absolutely. And we're gonna make this connection happen. And we welcome both of y'all at any point in time in the future. Just hit us up. Y'all are
friends of the show for sure.
Yeah.
Friends and family of the show for sure. All right. Anything else?
I think we're good.
We out of
Let's
there.
wrap it up.
Episode 17. We out here. Peace.
Hey.